The Young and the Restless Spoilers. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today is a beautiful day to dive into the absolute madness that is currently taking over our screens. Grab a huge cup of coffee because we have a lot to unpack today, and honestly, you are going to need it to get through this wild ride. So, let us just jump right into the deep end of the pool because I am honestly still trying to process everything that went down on The Young and the Restless lately. And I know you guys are too. The fans on social media have been screaming about this for weeks, and honestly, I am right there with them. I have been staring at my screen, just completely baffled by the sheer audacity of some of these characters. But mostly, I am just so incredibly invested in what is happening with Tracy Abbott right now. Because let us be real for a second. Tracy is usually the sweet sister. She is the one baking cookies or writing her novels or acting as the moral compass for the entire Abbott family when Jack and Billy are busy ruining their lives. But not today. Oh no, not today. Today Tracy is stepping up in a way that gave me absolute chills, and I cannot stop thinking about it. But wait, let me back up a little bit just in case you missed a few episodes ago. Diane Jenkins Abbott has been missing for weeks. Just gone. Poof. And Jack has been losing his absolute mind trying to figure out where his wife is. And of course, because this is Genoa City, it is never just a simple misunderstanding. It turns out Diane is being held hostage in this super creepy barred room by this corrupt psychiatrist named Dr. Lawrence Markham. And who is paying Dr. Markham? Who is pulling the strings? Patty Williams. Yes, you heard me right. Patty Williams is back to her old, completely unhinged tricks, and she is the one orchestrating this entire nightmare. And what is Patty's endgame here? What does she actually want? Well, if you saw the episode where she shows up at the Abbott mansion and flashes a picture of Diane unconscious in a white padded cell, you already know the sick, twisted truth. Patty wants Jack. She wants to recreate the quote-unquote magic that they had on that yacht years ago. She is literally blackmailing Jack for sex in exchange for his wife's safety. I mean, what were the writers thinking with this one? It is so gross and so dark, but also it is exactly the kind of unhinged soapy drama that we secretly love to watch, even while we are cringing. Jack is just standing there looking terrified and disgusted and panicking because he realizes that his wife's life is in the hands of a woman who is completely detached from reality. But here is where the story gets really good, because Jack is too close to this. He is desperate. He wants to save his marriage and he wants to save Diane, so he is actually trying to play along or at least figure out a way to manipulate Patty. And that is just a terrible idea. Who actually believes this is going to end well? You cannot out-manipulate someone who does not live in the real world. Jack thinks he can use Patty as a pawn to get what he wants, but he is playing with fire. And that brings us to the real hero of this storyline, Tracy Abbott. Tracy is the only one who truly understands the absolute catastrophic danger that Patty Williams represents. Because Tracy has lived it. She has survived it. And she has the scars to prove it. Tracy's history with Patty puts her in the ultimate position to be the final arbiter in this dark plot. She's the only one who can really stop Patty, because she is the only one who sees right through the fake healed act that Patty tries to put on. Let us talk about that history for a second, because newer viewers might not fully grasp just how deep this hatred goes. This is not just a casual rivalry. This is decades of pure trauma. Back in the 1980s, Tracy and Patty were caught up in this massive, messy love triangle. And during all that chaos, Tracy actually lost her unborn child. She lost a baby. And that kind of pain never just goes away. It simmers. It stays with you forever. Tracy has carried that loss quietly for decades, while Patty just kept coming back and wreaking havoc on the Abbott family over and over again. Maybe I am being too harsh on Patty because she is mentally ill, but honestly, at some point, the damage she causes is just too much to forgive. But the 1980s were just the beginning. The real trauma, the ultimate heartbreak that defines Tracy's entire existence when it comes to Patty Williams, happened in 2009. And just typing this out makes me emotional, because I remember watching those episodes and just sobbing. Patty kidnapped Colleen. Tracy's beautiful, vibrant, amazing daughter, Colleen. Patty took her at gunpoint. And that reckless, insane action ultimately led to Colleen drowning in that lake. It led to the tragic, senseless death of Tracy's only child. I want you to really think about that for a second. Think about the psychological weight of that. Tracy had to make the agonizing, soul-crushing decision to pull the plug on her own daughter. She had to sit in that hospital room and say goodbye to her child because of Patty Williams. Just pure trauma, decades of. Tracy is still grieving Colleen to this very day. Every time she looks at Patty, all she sees is the woman who ripped her heart out and destroyed her future. Having faced the absolute darkest abyss of grief, Tracy is literally the only person on this show who can hold Patty emotionally accountable. And we saw that raw, unfiltered grief and rage bubble up in Monday's episode. It was incredible television. For the first time in a long time, Tracy is not just mourning the past, she's not just crying over old photo albums. She is activated. She is determined to stop Patty before anyone else gets hurt. She knows that Patty is a ticking time bomb, and she's not going to sit around and wait for Jack to negotiate with a terrorist. Remember the scene in the park? Tracy sees Patty at the cafe with this mysterious man, who we know is Dr. Markham. Tracy immediately knows something sinister is going down. She hides behind a pillar. She watches Patty hand over an envelope of cash. She hears them talking about how everything is going smoothly. And Tracy does not just run away. She calls Jack, tells him what is happening, and then she steps out from behind that pillar and confronts the devil herself. That moment when Tracy walks up behind them and Dr. Markham makes his excuses and leaves. And Patty just looks at Tracy and asks when she is going to see her again. And Tracy just unleashes on her. I despise you, and that will never change. Boom. Short punches. Just absolutely lethal delivery. Tracy does not care about Patty's feelings. She does not care about Patty's delusions. She just wants to know what evil scheme Patty is plotting now. And when Jack shows up and threatens to throw Patty back in the mental institution, you can see the dynamic shift. Tracy is the one holding the power here, not Jack. But Jack, oh Jack, he is just making everything so much harder. Jack wants to use tactical maneuvers. He thinks he can outsmart Patty. He and Kyle are talking about breaking in somewhere or doing something reckless to find Diane. And Tracy is absolutely terrified of Jack and Kyle's plans. She thinks their impulsive actions are just going to make things worse. And she is right. If Jack pushes Patty too hard, or if Kyle goes charging in blindly, Patty's going to snap. She has already hinted that she could be a danger to others again. She told Dr. Markham she needs proof. She needs results. She is unstable. And let us talk about Dr. Markham for a second. Patty went to him, a supposed psychiatrist, but he is not treating her psychosis. He is not helping her get better. He is taking her money and participating in a kidnapping. Because of that, Patty's completely untreated right now. Her delusions are running wild. She actually believes that she and Jack are going to find that yacht magic again while Diane rots in a padded cell. She is more dangerous than she has ever been because she has a medical professional enabling her worst impulses. Some fans are even speculating that Dr. Markham might be Martin Laurent with a surgically altered face, which would just add a whole other layer of crazy to this story. Tracy sees all of this. She has this incredible gift, this sharp vision to see right through Patty's facade. She knows Patty is not healed. She knows Patty is not reformed. Tracy is fighting to protect her family, yes, but she is also doing something so much deeper. She is honoring Colleen's legacy by stopping Patty from causing more harm, by preventing another family member from being taken by Patty's madness. Tracy is keeping Colleen's memory alive in the most powerful way possible. She could not save her daughter, but she is damn sure going to save her sister-in-law and her brother. But this puts Tracy in a really terrifying position. If Tracy is the one standing in Patty's way, if Tracy is the one pulling the strings to expose this whole sick plot, then Tracy becomes the target. Patty has already dropped hints that she could return to her dangerous ways, actions that could be fatal for someone else. What if that someone is Tracy? What if Patty decides that Tracy is the obstacle keeping her from her happily ever after with Jack? Honestly, the thought of Tracy being in physical danger terrifies me. But from a storytelling perspective, it is absolute gold. This is exactly the kind of front-burner storyline that Tracy Abbott deserves. She has been on the sidelines for way too long, just offering a shoulder to cry on or a cup of tea. Giving her a massive, high-stakes psychological thriller storyline against the woman who murdered her daughter, it is brilliant. It gives the show a much-needed emotional anchor, amidst all the crazy corporate takeovers and AI framing plots happening elsewhere in Genoa City. Okay, That sounded a bit dramatic, but you get what I mean. We need this kind of deeply rooted, historical character conflict. We need to see Tracy fight. We need to see Patty face the one person who cannot be manipulated by her tears or her crazy logic. Tracy Abbott is going to war, and I am entirely here for it. Let us just hope that Jack and Kyle do not mess it up with their typical Abbott men arrogance. They need to step back and let Tracy handle this. She knows the monster they are dealing with better than anyone. So yeah, that is where we are at. A long, messy, emotional roller coaster of a storyline that is pulling from decades of show history. I am exhausted just talking about it, but I cannot wait to see what happens next week. Will Tracy find the padded cell? Will Patty completely lose her mind and attack Tracy? We will have to wait and see.